Good morning. Happy Saturday. I wanted to start off to let you see some of the new ink colors. And, oh, I didn't turn my other lights on. Let's turn my lights on. Hold on. There's one. There's the other. Okay. Here we go. Okay. These are the new ink colors. This is the cardstock. This is Barely Blush. This one is Crisp Cantaloupe, Golden Glow, Hydrangea Hue, and Peaceful Pine. And this designer series paper that I'm sharing right now makes use of all those colors. It's a smaller design, and with one of the cards that we're making today, this would work perfectly with it, especially paired with the coordinating cardstock. This is one of the beautiful designs, and it's got crisp cantaloupe on the back. And then we have Hydrangea Hue in the spotlight with Peaceful Pine in the back. And then we have this beautiful mixture. Looks like, let's see. Yeah, it's got Barely Blush background and crisp cantaloupe in it. And there may be some golden glow in that, but Peaceful Pine as well. And the Hydrangea Hue background. Here's Hydrangea Hue getting the front and the Peaceful Pine pattern in the back. And then this one, so they're so cheerful. This one with all the gold highlights, it makes it fun. This one's got I'm going to say it may have the Barely Blush background again with the cantaloupe and Peaceful Pine and probably Golden Hue in there. And then Hydrangea Hue again. These are very delicate patterns, make great backgrounds. This one I've seen paired with the Golden Glow cardstock, and it was just phenomenal. This one features the Golden Glow, and it has some other colors in there too, and backed with the crisp cantaloupe. All right, so that that DSP is in the new catalog. It's called Bloom Boutique, and I just think it's lovely, and I'm looking forward to working with it. Unfortunately, I had a little mishap, and I didn't get the cardstock as soon as I wanted, so I haven't had a chance to put them together yet. But I'm going to. Okay, these are the cards we have for today, and this is the one I was referring to with that paper I just showed you. It would look awesome with a smaller design and then paired with the coordinating cardstock. I have seen it. I loved it. And that's why you've got this card, because I thought it was so lovely. And I found paper that I thought would work with it. Now, let's go on to our class. Oh, new product. Couple things. I bought some of the new embossing folders. This one's the Fern and Floral. And this one I'm really excited about. This is actually huge. I mean, it's really big compared to what we usually get. I mean, it's really big. And if you guys remember in my previous classes, we've done what I called a blackout card, but other people call it Jacob's coat. I love this technique. It was really fun to do, and I'm looking forward to trying it with the embossed or debossed side, basically, of this wonderful die cut, yeah, speak properly, embossed paper. Anyway, I think it just would be so lovely, and I think you can kind of choose what area you want to display in your card, and if you want an oversized card, I think this would be a great way to do it. I've done some wonderful things with this previous folder, and I just really am looking forward to trying it with this. So that's my excitement. One more new piece I wanted to share. Actually, I'm using one of these today. This is the $1 Million Sales bundle from Susan Campfield. Yeah, Campfield. She did phrases and frames. And why I wanted to show this is because these are the special dies that the embossing, I want to call it a mat, but it's called a plate, is for. And I haven't, like I said, I just got this, so I haven't had a chance to really play with it. But you take and you do the die cut, and it's designed so that the pattern, when you use the mat to follow up, will be puffed up and more stand outish than before. So I've got to experiment with this yet, but I love the phrases. What she was doing was she was trying to find phrases that would go well with other things, such as thinking of you, and then you can do prayers and sympathy. Have a fabulous day. Didn't forget your birthday. Just want it to last. Sending hugs. Happy anniversary. May your day be filled with love and happiness. This really nice phrases, and I like the font on this one too. So I'm going to be using this one again today, as I said. Okay, now on to the class. Let's move the stuff out of the way so I have my papers in front of me. All right, we're starting with this particular card. This I liked. It's a fun fold, and it opens like this. Let me get it down here. It opens, it kind of catches, so it holds with the sentiment strip, and then it opens like this. The object for this paper is, when you pick it, you need to find paper that the back coordinates well with the front, which this particular Paradise Garden, I believe it's called, works real with that. And the different colors they have, I can't predict what color you got because I used a variety, but the way it's designed is when you cut it, you cut the full strip, the 12 inches by 4 inches, and that's what you're using to create the card. And then you have the base to give it the stability it needs. Anyway, that's what we'll be doing first, and we'll move on from there. Now, in your kit, you will have your designer series paper, which I've cut, and I've also scored it for you. And what you want to do is you want to take the short score here and fold it, mountain fold, and then the other two will be valley folds. So anyway, now you could, if you chose, and I did this with one of them, is you could possibly do it the reverse way, and have it go this way. But I felt like it might be too busy to show off the little leaves and such. So I stuck with the original plan, which is here. Okay, so you want to take your card base, your DSP, and you want to bend it on the score lines. And then in your kit, you will find the sentiment strip. Now, in this case, I use Thank You here, which came from, let me get that set out. I didn't do that. Get that set. Okay. Paradise Gardens. This is the stamp set, and this is the die set. And the strip that we're using right here for the sentiment, Thank You, fits on it, which is what I used originally. You've got the various stamps, and some of the dies will cut out some of the stamped images for you. So I wanted to show that to you. And then, yeah. And then for this little sprig here, I've used the set that we used in a past kit. You may remember it, but I used the die set, and I used this little sprig here because the others I was looking at were too big, and I felt like this would fit nicely. And so I used that. But that was the Charming Day set. It's retired now, I believe. I think it was on the last chance list, but I think it's gone now. The way they're working at the last chance list, things disappear even faster. But I have need of birthday cards, so today I'm going to be using this happy birthday sentiment that I found that I thought was the right size. Now, you'll also have, if you can see them, a strip of rhinestones and a black strip and a silver strip. And then I included some extra leaves, which you can use to embellish the inside. Now, what I did with this, and the way it works best for me, you might, oh, that's interesting. There it is. I'm missing my glue. I've put a very small strip of glue right along the edge. And then I take this edge and I'm going to line it up so about 1/8 of an inch shows. Now I'm going to have to line it up and then make sure it's even. There we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, so we have an even strip. I'm going to let that set for a minute. And then we're going to take this and do the same thing. Add a very thin strip of glue. Along the edge. And line it up again, so about 1/8 of an inch shows. There we go. I'm going to let that set up for a bit. Now for the inside, you can choose your own sentiment that you want. I'm doing a birthday one, and I believe I'm just going to use Have a Fabulous Day. And that's out of the Phrases and Frames set. What I am currently doing with my new stamp sets is I am taking the stamp set and I'm printing it out on a piece of cardstock. So I have the design. I can also match it up and say, okay, I have all my pieces. I tried securing it inside, but I decided I didn't like it. It felt too awkward. This one I think says, Have a Fabulous Day. Okay, so I've got that. I'll put this away. And then I'm going to use the new stamp positioner. Here is my inside panel. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to line it up with a number 6 line, just so I have a good idea where it was. I'm going to put the magnets in, and I'm going to take and place the stamp. Now, I want to make sure that you, I did this the other day. I was in a hurry, and I was trying to make a birthday card, and I ended up putting my sentiment on upside down. That doesn't work. Okay, so keep that there, keep that there. The magnets, when you move them closer to where your sentiment is, it allows a little more stability so the paper stays in place. Okay, then you take the top panel. You know which is the top because the bottom has these little, if you can see it, springs that allow you to push down. And the top just have the pegs to guide it. So I'm going to just push down, which is going to pick up my sentiment. And then I'm going to flip it over, add the ink. It doesn't seem dark enough there. Okay. Then I'm going to flip it back around, line it up with the pegs, set it gently down, and just press. And there you have your stamped image. Now, as is my habit with these photopolymer stamps, is I try to clean them as soon as I can after using them. The black isn't a problem, but some of the colors contain red, and red tends to stain them. And while the staining doesn't hurt the stamp, I prefer not to have them stained if I can avoid it. Okay, so that's one. I have the inside. And then what I did to embellish the inside, this is your choice how you want to do it. But I happen to like the leaves, you know. So I'm going to take and just snip these leaves. I just thought they made a little extra touch. You could do maybe something in the corner or whatever you would like. That's what you'll end up with some extra leaves probably. And then when I've got small things to glue, I'll use my reverse tweezers to hold them while I apply a bit of glue. Okay. And the reverse tweezers make it easier for placement where you would like them to be. Now, I can take this and I can simply center it in the middle section. Now, I have seen this done where they took this middle piece and instead of doing a sentiment, what they did was an envelope, which would then contain the gift card that they wanted to send. Okay, have that where I want it, maybe over a little bit. Okay, and this one is settled in now. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to figure out our placement. And I kind of like it like that. This is a little bit more than what I want. So more leaves to decorate with. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm tucking it under. I'm looking at that, and then I'm going to bring my sentiment over, and I'm going to picture where I'm going to have that be. And if I'm happy with that, I'm going to take and use my dimensionals, and I'm making note. This is going to fit over here, so this is going to attach this flap, and it's going to go on top of this flap, but you don't want to put your dimensional on top of that. So I can only put the dimensionals on this side. So I've turned it over kind of in line, and I don't want to block being able to close it. Okay, so this, I have this place just so I had a good idea where I wanted to go. And then I'm going to bring this down. Get it lined up the way I want it. There. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to add some tape runner. And what I'm doing is I'm adding the tape runner. If I can get it to run. Is it running? Can't tell that it is. Okay. Sometimes. There we go. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is going to take these leaves and tuck them in. Make sure they're lined up the way you want them to be. I have the one leaf coming out over. There. And then this is ready to go in like that. Okay? Hey, guess what? Now we just have to add the back. This is what gives it the sturdiness it needs. I'm going to bring this up. Okay. And line it up with about 1/8 of an inch around on all the sides. Okay. And that's why I like the white mat when I'm working with dark, so I can have an idea of where my placement is, so I'm happy with it. Now, I also, and this is where I use scraps a lot. There it is. I also see some areas where I like the leaves glued down so they're not just flopping all over everywhere. So I'm taking and putting a little glue on a piece of scrap, and I'm tapping it onto the back of the leaves. A little touch more. Okay. And then I press down, and that'll hold the leaves in place. And then we're ready to add the embellishments. Now, sometimes I find it easier when working with small things to use my take a pick tool. And I just add. It kind of helps me see where I'm placing it to see if that's where I want it to be. There's different ways of doing it. I could use the sticky part too. Okay. Let's see. Okay. This take a pick tool has a gummy end, which is what I'm using right now, and allows you to pick up some of the gems and move them where you'd like. Okay. And those clear pieces of paper like to disappear on you. Anyway, there you have your card, all nice and completed. You open it up, you have your greeting, And you can have the decorated inside, and there you go. First card. Let's see. Okay. Move some of the stuff back where it belongs. Anyway, there's two versions of it. Here's another version I did earlier. It works with all the different colors. This particular card paper is really good for that, which is why I use it. I've had a lot of fun with the paper. I just love the colors of it. And like I said, I needed a birthday card, so now I've got the birthday card I need. Okay. That was card number 1. Card number 2. Let's move some stuff away. Now this one, we are featuring the paper from the Delicate Whispers suite. This is the stamp set. These are the dies. The stamp, this flower you'll find on the paper. I don't know if it's showing on the paper we used or not. Let's see. Yeah, there's one of them here. But you can actually, from some of the paper, the DSP, you can actually die cut out, and that's the die that works with it. Some of the features on the card. This is coordinates with that. And we also did is we also used this, I believe it was this die I used for the embellishment on front. I cut it out of copper foil paper. And I also used for the sentiments these shapes here, which comes from the Nested Essential Dies. I've had this set for a while. It is still available. It's kind of a convenient set to have. I like the nested feature because if you want, you can have your sentiment and then you can have a layer around it to help emphasize, which is what we did here with the shape. And then we have this mechanism bridge, so it pops up as well. Now in your kit, let's get my next kit out. That'll be up there. In your kit, you will have the Designer Series papers. You will have the die cuts, and in the packet I put the smaller ones. So this one will be going on this die cut, and this one will be going on this die cut, and this will be for the sentiment here. All right, your card base opens this way. It's a Z fold, so you're going to want to fold it on that score line there. The mechanism strip I have scored for you. It's got a single score on this side and then a double score on this side. And when you stamp your sentiment, you're going to want to stamp, this is the upright position, so you want to stamp it with a single score on the left-hand side. Now for this one, it's easy enough to go ahead and add. I'm going to move this out of harm's way. We're going to do our stamping. and we're going to add our paper. So we're going to add the paper first, and we're going to put it on the panel, front panel here. One thing I like about the dark background is that I can see the glue. Sometimes on the white you can't see it, and you wonder, did it come or didn't it? And then you want to look and see if your paper has a direction to it, so you put it right side up and not upside down, and center it so that you have an even border around. And then you're ready for the next piece. I'm going to open this up while it dries. I'm going to place this one next. This is pretty on the back side too. It's one of those hard choices that we make. So even though you might think, oh, you're only going to use one side, sometimes the other side is just right for what you want. And then I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to make even borders here, here, and here. And then I'm going to add this, but where I'm going to add this is I'm going to add it right next to that. So we'll have the even borders matching. This is pretty on the back side too. It's so hard sometimes. Now I use liquid glue because it allows me some ability to do adjustments if necessary. Okay. Now while that's drying, we're going to work on the sentiments. And we also have some embellishments in there too. Okay. For the front, I did Hello Friend. Now this is one of the early ones I got, and so I had attached it to the inside here, but like I said, I'm not overly fond of how it works. So here's my Hello Friend. And then the inside one was Wishing You Happiness and Love. Again, you can choose the sentiments that you want. Now, what I have determined, in my opinion, is that, let's see if I can get it out here. There. Okay, I'm setting this down on my plate. Okay, letting it relax. I can pick it up and it'll be straight. And then for this one, I can use this. All right. What I have determined that sometimes the stamping positioner, when you're working with smaller die cuts like this, it's a little tricky to use. And so if I was doing this for my own use instead of setting you up with kits, I would have stamped this and just gone ahead. I'm lining this up and die cut it afterwards. Okay, this can go on this, and I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. I'm not going to pop it up because I don't want too much thickness in the inside of the card. I just kind of even it out so it's all lined up and even. And we're going to let that dry for a few minutes. Let's trust our luck with this one. Hello, friend. Well, this one was just kind of centered on there. Okay. Now, in this case, they do recommend you use the foam mat when working with a photopolymer to get a good, because it doesn't have the give like the rubber. And I like to use it especially when I'm doing something like this because it gives me a clear definition of where my die cut or stamp I want to stamp. It's so I can see clearly. Makes a difference. Now this one, you have choices. I've got it ready, but I don't think I want to put it together just yet because I got some things to figure out. But that's ready to go. This is ready now for the mechanism. Again, the strip, one folded section here, two folded sections on the right hand side. Now you want this to stay firmly in place. I guess it's up here again. I had, oh, here it is. I have a piece of tear tape here that I'm going to use. And you want this firmly adhering. I'm lining it up next to the score line. And I'm doing a second strip. Well, I think I'll do that after the first one. So I have good adhesion. I'm just taking the covering off there. Then I can lay the other strip down, and if it overlaps there, it won't matter because it's all going to be sticky. And then I'm going to take this off too. There we go. Now, the way this works is I've got the sticky here. We're putting this inside panel in first so that we can line up the outside so that it covers it. And I'm going to about the center of where it should be. I'm kind of laying it out like this. Okay. And then I've got this up against the fold. And I'm going to press down on it like that. And that's going to pick it up. And then I'm ready to add the adhesive only to the last section. What's going to happen is this is going to fold down and under. And when it pops up, and that's the only part that's going to stick. This is just for the height. As I did before, I'm going to take off the cover. And I'm going to add a second strip. I'll tell you, the tear tape is sticky, which is what it was designed for. I want to make sure it's nice and firmly down. And then I'm going to move that cover. Okay, now in this case, what I'm going to do is going to take this and I'm going to lay it down. And I'm going to actually bring this over to it. So then I have the mechanism, and you want to check and make sure the mechanism's working. I wanted to be really sure when you are doing this that you had a good idea how this mechanism works, because one of the cards I'm anticipating doing next month uses this technique, only a little bit more elevated. Now, we're going to put this on here, and we're only going to add, I can add it here, the glue to the mechanism. Okay. A sticky too. Okay. So you kind of want to center it on here. Make sure it's level. Press down. There you go. Okay, now the trick of it is when we do this, we want to have it so it actually covers. And if you line up the points with the card edge there, you know you're going to be even. Now you have some choices here. You can lay it all flat, or you can pop it up. I'm going to lay the sentiment down flat. I did it popped up before, but I think I like it flat. I'm going to try that. And then I'm going to use the dimensionals on the other. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to turn this over. And I'm going to use the dimensionals, but before I do that, we have this little piece to add in. So, as I'm figuring out where I'm going to put the dimensionals, I want to figure out where that is going to go to. And I like that. So I'm going to put the dimensional actually on here. And maybe another one down a little lower. Okay. That holds that. No, that may be too low. Maybe too low. Now, the thing about this is that they can. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, do it here. The dimensionals are sticky, but if you want to correct it right away, it's usually not a problem. Then I'm going to add dimensionals on the other ends. So one here. And one here. Let's see. Do I need more? No, I don't think I do. Okay. Removing the color from this one. All right, now here's where I like to use my reverse tweezers so that my fingers don't get in the way of what I'm trying to see. I want this lined up about even, and the points lined up, and the points lined up, and there we go. Okay, that's ready to go, but now we got to place it here. And remember, we only want these 2 points to line up here so it covers the sentiment that's inside. So I'll only want to put glue on this side. And just to make sure we don't go too far. I'm pushing the excess over. All right. Oh, I see I've decorated myself with some ink. Okay. Again, point, point, line up, press. Okay, we're going to let that set for a minute. And while we're doing that, we're going to go rescue the embellishments I included in your kit. And I'm also going to wipe the ink off of me before I get it elsewhere that I don't want it. Okay. Oh, got there too. All right. Okay. I just lost my other embellishment. Any of you see where it went? Okay. Oh, there it went. It found its own home, huh? I think it's still on its... No, it's not. Yes, it is. These invisible pieces of paper, I'll tell you. Okay. Trying to decide how I want it to go. I think I like it there. There we go. And your card is finished. That's 2 cards. Okay. And it's even less than an hour. Okay, so we have 2 cards done. All right. Let's clean our stamps and put them away. Little cleanup helps the whole thing work better. There it is. Okay. All right. If you put it away, then you can always come back and find it. Makes a difference. Okay. So there we go. That was card 2. Again, I think the Delicate Whispers are really fun set. I want to do a lot more with it. Now, this next card, if you look at your construction sheet, you have this chart, if you will, showing how to do the layout. I did that for several reasons because I have hopes that you'll want to use this design in with your other scraps. And I thought to have this chart would help make it more clear if it's been a while since you put it together. Now, when I was doing this, I usually do like a prototype, ahead of time, just to try something out to see if I like it. And so I was just grabbing scraps I happen to have and put this together. And I liked it. And I thought, okay, what colors will I use? Well, I ended up using the Perennial Lavender because I had a lot of scraps. And when you stick with the sweet, the colors are going to go well together. And I had plenty of scraps, and it is a popular color palette anyway. So that's what we went for the card. But I just wanted to show you this. By having a prototype, I could go ahead and I could take the pieces I was thinking of using. In this case, it was Regal Winter paper. But I was taking the pieces I was using and just kind of lining them up, matching them to the spots. And I could see if I liked it. I already got the yellow there, so I'll go with the green. Or I could do the green there and do the yellow here. But I could, lay it out and say, oh, yeah, I do like that, and go with it. And I will eventually make a card out of this because I have the pieces there to do it. But today we're going to stick with what we have in our kit. I don't know. Okay. Here's our sample card. I'm going to move some of this excess stuff away so I can maneuver as I need to. I need to get my kit. What do we have? I think we have 2. Yeah, that's the last one. Okay. In your kit, you have your card base. And you have an extra layer, which is going to be the foundation you use for your pieces that you're matching. And this is the piece for the inside layer. I'm going to leave that in there because they like to hide so easily. These are my embellishments. Okay. This chart is going to be very handy because It's going to help you with your layout. And I tried to use the A, B, C, D, E, kind of as a guide. This is another embellishment. These two pieces are for the sentiment. And these black strips, let me explain them to you, are in 4 distinct sizes. Okay? Now I'm going to take this strip here because this goes with this. I'm going to go ahead and apply it. That's the easy part. This card probably will take a little longer than the other two have. Okay, I'm just lining that up and using the liquid glue function to adjust as necessary. Yeah. All right, that'll be for the inside. Now I'm taking that extra layer and I'm going to start working. And piece E right here, bottom corner. Let's see, I've got this covered over with that. I'm going to move it over here. Maybe you can see kind of how I'm guiding it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to line it up with the corner and matching it corner here. Okay. That's where I start. Okay, so I'm lining it up on the corner even. Okay, if you started out well, you've got a good chance of keeping it well. But if you start out crooked, you're going to end up crooked no matter what you do. So that little tiny piece is important. Oh, I see I got more ink on me. I'm good at that, aren't I? See if that one's thin enough I can get it off. Oh well, just call me Inky Fingers. All right. And then you take the shortest piece and place it, you're going to place it right there. And I'm going to add a bit of glue. Okay. And then we're going to take the next piece, add the glue. Okay, and I'm going to use one of my students' trick. It's a little bit of the glue seeped here. I'm going to wipe that up before I put the other one in. Okay, now this has a direction. Paying attention to the direction, I'm going to add this in like that. I'm going to make sure it's lined up with the edge. Okay, so we have the edge and the edge all lined up. Next, you are going to want to take the second from largest strip, and you're going to be putting it here. Let's see, do I have that really where I want it? Okay. So just a little strip of glue. In this case, I think I'm going to put the glue right along the edge here. Okay. Okay, now we're ready to take piece C. Was that piece C? Piece C is the big one. Okay. And we're going to add glue to that. Okay, now this is where it gets a little closer, tricky, because sometimes, even though you try to be careful, the pieces don't exactly match up, but you want it to be as close as possible. Okay, and then if there is some overlay, I see a little tiny bit, but if there is some overlay, you can trim this before we add it to the card base. Now we're going to take the strip here. This is the longest strip, and that's going to go right here. You see how we're building this bit by bit, lining everything up and lining the black strips together? Okay. And now we're ready for B. It goes in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, we're pressing it down. I'm making sure it's even with the edge as much as I can. Okay. That leaves us a little strip here to add. Just a little tiny strip. There we go. Come on. Line it up and meet it right next to itself. Not next strip. Okay. And then we're down to the last one. Now, as I showed you earlier, with the prototype, you can play with this as much as you want. You know, compare different scraps of paper to different pieces. And, okay, this isn't lined up good. Come on. No, I don't like it like that. We'll try it this way. Okay, that one's going to need some trimming. For some reason, it's going to need some trimming. There. Okay. We have the pieces down. What I'm going to do, I'm taking my handy dandy paper trimmer. I'm going to look, and actually there's only a couple of spots where it almost doesn't work. And this is one of them. Okay. And let's see. There. Just a little bit. Little tiny bit. Okay. I think we're pretty good. And then we're ready for our card base. Okay. We're just going to stick that on there. Line it up so you have even borders. And then for this one, while we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to use a little weight on it. I'm going to see to my sentiment. And the one I was thinking about was actually from, yeah, I still have it over there. Let's see, thinking of you. Okay. I like the thinking of you sentiment because it allows for a bunch of possibilities. Thinking of you, just thinking of you, or it's your birthday, or I heard you're having a recovery time or something like that. It just gives you lots of options, especially if you're doing the cards in advance. You can do the thinking of you. In this case, I won't put a sentiment on the inside. It allows me to say, so sorry to hear about, well, in my case, my grandson broke his collarbone. So sorry to hear you broke your collarbone. No fun. Thinking of you. Okay. All right. In fact, my sample card, prototype, the one I had to try first, of the one I'm thinking of, or the one I sent him actually, was a card letting him know I was sorry he broke his collarbone, wishing him well. The thing about circles is that if you got it on kind of crooked as far as lining up, well, circles, you just turn it until it's straight the way you want it. I'm going to let that set for a bit. Use that pressure. And then this one, I'm going to do my usual trick because it's a detail die. I'm going to take my silicone mat. I'm going to add, in this case, I'm using the tacky glue. Most of the time, I use the Tombow glue because it really works well for the cards and the things I'm doing. But in this case, Tombow glue stays sticky after it dries. This does not. The tacky glue does not. And when I'm putting a pool of glue on my silicone mat, I may be working on several cards, and I don't want to accidentally set myself on some glue that's still sticky after it dried and then lose what I was working on because I did that. This way, when it dries, I know it's not sticky and I can go ahead and still use it. Now, also, when I am doing the applying of the glue like this, I'm holding it in place. And then when I can't hold it in place anymore, I have to move it. I'll move it to a non-use section where there's no stickiness, and I will go and finish applying the glue. And then once I've applied the glue, I can take it and move it here and place it where I want it. And when I have it how I want it, I just tack it down. And I like that technique because when you're dealing with really intricate designs, it's a way of getting glue on the pieces without getting too much glue on the pieces. And then this, I'll just go ahead and put inside. Making it all nice and even. Okay, now I'm ready for my thinking of you. And I think I might pop this one up this time. Back to the dimensionals. Here we go. I'm just going to lay it down gently and look at it. Is it straight? Is it where I want it to be? Do I need to maneuver anything? There we go. And then we had some embellishments. Okay. Embellishment time. Take a pick time. I don't know. I kind of like sparkle here and there. Okay. And there you have the third card. How about that? Let's see. Oh, it's only over an hour, just a little over an hour. How about that? We're doing good. Okay. These instructions, I would not lose this chart. And I would suggest in this case, you might want to make your own little prototype to keep with it to play with, like I did with mine. Which I'm going to move aside for now. Okay, now this card. I really wish I'd been able to put together more samples for you. I do have one I did early on. Here's my kit. I had actually used the same paper, but what happened I used white, and what happened as I was looking at it, I thought, you know, that cloud cover might just go perfectly with it. So I went, this is cloud cover. This was one of last year's in colors, or it's still a current in color, but it's from the previous year. And I just really liked it. And because I didn't have the new in colors yet, I couldn't use those. So this is what I did. And the small designs work perfectly, because what happens when this card is that your beautiful designer series paper, you're only using strips. Can you imagine how many cards you can make with your beautiful paper just using strips? Anyway, I'm excited about this. I needed a sympathy card when I made this one, but I'm also been short on happy birthday cards. Oh my gosh, had so many birthdays come up. Anyway, that is one I'm going to be making using the new ink colors, because the new ink colors are gorgeous. But for right now, we're working with what I had on hand in your kit. Okay, you have, this is your card base. These are the strips you're using. This is for your inside panel. This is your front flap. And this is the layer that goes on top of it. That's not right. This is right. Okay, there's a slight difference here. Okay, that layer. Oh, maybe I have it wrong. There, I have it wrong. This is the inside layer. All right, something's not right here. Time to take my measurement out here. Let's take a look. Card base, front flap, 4x4. 4. That's not 4x4. Where's the other one? That's not right either. Oh, that's this one, 4x4. Okay, 4x4. I'm sorry, 4x4. Okay, that's the front flap. And then the layer from the front flap, 3x3 3/4. No. Oh, maybe I made two the same. 3 3/4. 3x3 3/4. Okay, this is 3/4 by 4. 3/4 by 4. I've got two the same. Okay, so I have to cut one down. Okay, so cutting this one down. Paper trimmer. I'm sorry, I hope I got yours right, but you might have to correct it if I didn't. This should be, layer for the front flap is 3 by 3/4. Okay, that was 4. 3 3/4, and this one should be 3. Okay. I don't know how it's going to work out. Let's see. That still doesn't seem right. Oh, that's a front flap 4. Oh, never mind. I got 2 pieces the same. This is the only one that's going on here. Let's see. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. I ended up with 2 pieces for the inside layer. That's what happened. All right. Now that I know what I'm doing, let's follow the directions. Okay. We're going to position the card base with the short flap at top. And we're going to adhere the 4x4 cardstock to the top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to be layering this so that it is centered and also even with the bottom. And that shows me I have this much space I can stick them on. Okay. And lay that flat there. Okay. Now I have my flap. Yeah. All right. And then I'm going to put this on the top. This doesn't seem right. Well, it's close enough. Glue. Leaving an even border all around. Okay. Then we're going to put this 2 side pieces in. Again with a 1/8 of an inch border. An 1/8 of an inch border. Okay. Now this can be centered on here. Here we go. Now, I'm using glue. I'm using a lot of glue because this is embossed, which means not all of the cardstock will be in contact. So I have to make sure it has good contact. Oh, I didn't talk about the folders or anything. Shame on me. This is the embossing folder that goes with the Paradise Garden set. It makes this nice leaf pattern. It also has a die that you can, it's a hybrid embossing folder. You can add the die inside this and make it so some of the leaves are cut loose on the ends. I haven't used that myself yet. And I have not yet seen some examples showing it being used. That's another, there's so many possibilities. You just have to try what you can try as you have time to try it. Anyway, I've been using the embossing folder a lot for background. It's a soft but pleasing folder. For the leaves, I use, this is the from Nature Symphony dies. I used from the dies here, I use this for the leaves. And for the inside, I did, here we are. For the inside, I did the leaves from the other folder I used earlier. Let's see if I can find it real quick without, there it is, I think. No. It's a whisper dyes, I'm sure. Yeah, whisper dyes. I used the whisper dye. I think it was this one I used to get this little decorative piece here. I just cut off what I wanted. Okay, so inside your set, you have the leaves and a little sprig, and then these 2 layers to create the sentiment. And I want wishing you a lovely day, if I can get it out. Well, I might have to go hunting. Let's see, I've got too many pieces out here. Here it is. That's a fabulous day. I want a lovely day. This is the wrong one. Well, I might have to do something different. Okay. Since I need so many birthday cards, I may go with branching out. Happiest birthday wishes. Although I like lovely die. Let's see if there's another one I was thinking of. There. Here's another I'm in your thoughts. Or you're in my thoughts. Okay, I like this one too. We'll do that one. Put you back with that. And I think that will fit. Just barely. Okay. Yeah, you're straight enough. Okay. In this case, I'm going with a hydrangea, or not hydrangea, Highland Heather. Okay. I love the script on this one. I tend to turn to it often. Okay. Adding glue. Okay, and then here I'm going to do some snipping. And what I'm going to do is I like the alignment of these 2 leaves really well. But this one, I'm going to realign a bit. And I did pop this up. So I'm putting this, got too many pieces here, come on. I'm putting this on here, and I'm figuring out how I want to lay out the leaves. As I said, I already like the configuration of those. So it's just the others that I'm considering. I don't like that, I want that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to try to put the dimensionals where they won't interfere with the leaves, and I can add the leaves after I pop this up. Okay. Doesn't help when they twist around on you. And there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. Taking out the covers. Lining this up kind of centered. I think I'm going to use my little placement tool again. So I like it. Okay. And this one, I know how I want it. I'm adding a little glue here on this piece of scrap. I'm just kind of dabbing the leaves into it. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to tuck them in underneath. And then this one, I'm going to do similar. And then this one, the same. There we go. Now I have to do the inside. So the inside, I can do the same trick with the sponge. Then the tacky glue. Okay. Now first, before I put this in here, I move the glue out of the way, out of harm's way. Before I put this in here, I have to look and see which direction it goes. It goes this way. Okay. So I'm going to put you there. And then I'm going to add you like that. And I can put my note inside. Okay. Okay, I'm evening these up. Okay. And there you have your fourth card. So this has been a lot of fun putting these together. These are pretty quick to put together. This card, once you get on a roll with it, it goes really fast. You can make several super quick using beautiful, beautiful paper that will go far. Um, I think that there's many potentials on this. The different colors of the papers, cardstock, the new ink colors, I think they will work very wonderfully with this particular card. But um, when you're working with the others, this allows you to use up the scraps. This is exploring a technique that I'm going to apply next month. But it's also using this gorgeous paper. I just want to dive into it. I just really love that paper. And as you can recognize, I have already dived into this Paradise Garden paper like crazy. We used it for the pinwheel card a month ago, 2 months ago. And it's just, this particular card goes together pretty quick and it's effective in its look. I do have, if I can find it, yeah, I do have one card I started working with as an example of where I folded it so the pattern was outside and the colors were inside. But at any rate, I like the way it looks. I haven't finished it yet, but it's really hard. There's so many things that are so fun to do. At any rate, and before I stop, okay, let me put this out here, clean up my desk a little so we can see what we're doing. Okay. Close the pad. Oh, one other thing too. I'm closing the pad and I'm realizing, for those who haven't seen, this is the new magnetic pad. And maybe the green would be a little easier. It is magnetic. You just open it like that. And it's a felt pad, so it's a little bit different than what we're used to. But they were having problems with the foam on the other pads reacting to some of the ink colors. And so this was kind of their solution to it. But some of you have struggled with the opening and closing of the pads. This ends that problem here. If you really like the ink colors, which, here we go. We have Barely Blush, Golden Glow, Peaceful Pine, Hydrangea Hue, and Crisp Cantaloupe. I think the colors go lovely together. I'm excited about them, and I'm planning on using them a whole lot. As you saw, I like that paper real well, so I'll be diving into these. And if you want to get the whole set of the new ink colors, the best deal is to buy the complete set of 5. If you buy them individually, beginning May, it'll be $14 per pad. So that would be the better deal, is to buy the set if that's the colors you want to keep in your stockpile. Now for today's cards, we're going to go over these here. And this is the one I did. A whole stack of others. And here's the other one we did. Now, again, the technique I was showing you with this one is going to be applied next month. I really, really like this card. I have in mind, and I'm excited to be able to share it with you. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, yes, there is something else. One more thing. Okay, moving aside for a minute. I've been considering this card. I did a little video on it for Facebook as a potential card. I showed some of you the other card I was looking at. This one requires some alcohol ink technique, and I need some feedback from you guys because I really like the card, but when I look at it, basically, I want it to be a learning process for you. And while I could go ahead and do the alcohol ink, I think it would be beneficial for you to experience something of it yourself. Now, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Way back when we did an alcohol ink class, and what I did was I took the vellum and I used the washi tape to hold it down on some cardstock to absorb the extra fluids, and then we would apply with the blending pens patches of color throughout. Okay, I'm just doing this real quick for you because this would be your homework. If you want to do this card, you would have to do some of this on your own ahead of time. I'm just doing a real quick demo here, just adding some color in here, and I use the yellow. Now the alcohol ink dries pretty quick, and then after it gets on there, you're going to need 91% isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So if you don't have that, and then I'm using a stamping spritzer, which basically, I'm not going to do the whole thing here because I don't want it all over my desk. But basically, you just take and put the alcohol in the spritzer and you just spritz the ink and it'll start to run a little bit and blend together. And that's what you want it to do. Now, some of you may remember when I did this in class and we had several different techniques that we used to do it. But see how they're kind of running a little bit? That's kind of the effect you want. And then we have to let it dry completely. And then after it's dried, if you don't feel like there's enough color, you can add more color. It's something you can kind of play with. Anyway, if you want to go ahead and do this card, you would need some way of spraying the alcohol blend markers in the colors. Now, I used pinks and yellows and orange or coral. And depends on what colors you have. And then kind of, if you don't remember, you can call me and I can talk you through it. The important thing is 91%. That's important. And then we have different techniques we can use in here. See, where did I put it? Over here. When I was finished, this is what I have left of the sheet that I did. And I just positioned the die and cut it out. You might not have the dies. Okay, I'm still working on this one. I'm still thinking on it. Anyway, first thing you do, let me know if you are really interested in this card. There's a lot of die cutting involved. And I want to know your opinion, like whether you really want to pursue this card or whether I'll just pursue it on my own. Anyway, I'm so glad you were able to join today. I hope that you learned some new things. I hope that you will be able to join for the next class, and I hope you'll take these cards and make good use of them and spread the joy to others. Um, I can't tell you how much fun I've had learning how to do this and creating different cards and then sharing it with other people. And let me know. I'd love to see pictures of your cards. That's one of my favorite things, is to see what you guys are able to create. And if you have any other ideas that you want to share with me, and I'm listening. Anyway, have a wonderful week, and share your cards with others. Share the joy. And I hope to see you next time, or at least hear from you next time. Anyway, if you do have questions, even if you didn't participate in the kit part, I'm happy to answer whatever questions I can. So take care and enjoy your Saturday, and hopefully we'll get this all together and get some people cheered up with our cards. Thanks. Let's see. Always forget where it is. I know there's a button somewhere. Okay, let's see. There it is. Bye.